Come on. Oh.
Down by 14. And Beretta intercepted by Teague. George Teague to the end zone. Touchdown. Hall is now right in the middle. That says blitz. Passes away. Penalty flag down. Lamar Thomas has got it. Lamar Thomas is on his way down the sideline. George Teague is after him and runs him down. Takes the ball away from him. Teague's got the ball. And they tackle Teague back at the 12. Game's over. Alabama defeats Miami. Number 2 beats number 1, 34-13.
Blitz on from the 1. And they throw a fade right side of the end zone for Owens. He got both feet in. Touchdown catch over the shoulder. Here we go. They're going to have a big fight. There goes Owens. Puts it down and even levels it.
Here it goes.
And now Teague is aimed at by an offensive lineman. Flozell Adams pulls Teague away. And Owens is waved to the bench. And he stands in the middle of the star and holds the ball out.
Let me tell you something, Brad. Terrell Owens started it. Emmett Smith went out to the 50, trumped him. Now Terrell Owens comes back, and George Teague said, you know what, I'm not going to take this. Good for George Teague.
Hello, good evening, everybody, and welcome into another edition of the Teague's Take podcast alongside George Teague and JT. I, as always, am IndyCar Tim, and we are joined by another splendid guest tonight, as we are joined by former Alabama linebacking great, let's see, co-host of the Riley and Constant podcast, the proprietor at 40plusstrong.com, and the hero of the 1999 Alabama LSU football game. Ladies and gentlemen, Marvin Constant joins the show. Marvin, how are you, brother?
Well, hey, thank you guys for having me. What an amazing intro. I couldn't ask for it. Y'all want to come on my show and intro me? Man.
Anytime. George is here, man. He's finally here. We've talked about this for a while.
Yeah, man. I'm excited about this. Thank you, Marvin. Appreciate it. This is another one of the guys who actually started helping to pique my interest about what to do with podcasting, right? Because him and Justin Riley do a tremendous job with their stuff. Now, their show is, I'm going to say, quite different than ours. So any of you guys that are listening to his show, all the joking and the cracking that I've been able to do with him and Langham and all his guests, because they're really good comedians, Tim and JT. They crack the whole show and talk a little bit of football in between the jokes. So
thank you,
Marvin. I promise not to joke on you too much doing that, but I know I gave a small plug with that, but why don't we go ahead and hit that now before we get into some football? It's another things I want to talk about. You want to go ahead and tell everybody about how they find you, talk about your podcast a little bit.
They can find me on my Instagram, Constant45, CONSTANT, and the number 45. Twitter, the same thing, Constant45, but it has a 1 on the end. Facebook, I'm just Marvin Constant. Riley and Constant show every Tuesday night, 7 p.m. live. We bring in former Alabama players. Sometimes we bring in players from other schools as well. Talk about their careers at Alabama as well as in the NFL and what they're doing now. We have a wide variety of hosts with the show, with myself and Justin, and we have Steve Brown, comedian, and Stephen A. Smith from Touchdown Alabama Magazine, who also is regularly on the Fine Bomb show. So between the four of us, we bring so many different elements to one sports show. It works well together. And when I'm not doing that, I run 40plusstrong.com. So, if you need a good training book to help you get back in shape, it's specifically designed for individuals in their late 30s, 40s, and 50s to get back in shape. Me, myself, personally, I came down from 317 to 215. So.
You think can you get me from about 270 back down to about 205?
That's easily done. You go on my Instagram and you will see where people are regularly showing their progress. Man, I kid you not. I dropped 100 pounds in around 18 months. So, again, it's a great book. It's a great tool. You can also find fitness accessories on there if you need workout gloves, bands, sweat vests, you name it. I got it on 40plusstrong.com.
Sweet.
But how in the hell, excuse me, but how in the hell did you get up being 300 pounds, boss? What were you doing, man?
That ain't a linebacker. That's an offensive lineman right there.
Well, the thing about it, life deals you a lot of blows in life, and stress is one of the main ones. For me personally, that's what it was. After I got hurt and no longer allowed to do the thing that I loved to do my entire life since age 6, it took a toll on me mentally. And when you're in a dark place, things that normally wouldn't happen in your life tend to happen every day. So just doing all the wrong things, man, just eating stuff I shouldn't have been eating, drinking. And we all know alcohol is full of carbs, trying to self-medicate, man. And it was a dark time. And, but when I finally came out of it, I was 317. I was like, this is not you. You have to get back to the person that you were designed and meant to be in life. And that's when I began my journey, and I documented it all in my book.
All right. That's good stuff. So can you tell us, because there's plenty of people don't really know what happened when you say, can we talk about the injury and what was going on at that time? Do you mind sharing what happened?
I was having one of the seasons that most linebackers dream about having. I had double figures in tackles in almost every game that season, with the exception of 2, and that was because we played spread offenses and they wanted to throw the ball everywhere. But it was miraculous. Still ended up getting all SEC honors and didn't even play the last 4 games of that season to kind of let people understand how great of a season it was. I didn't play the last 4 games of that season. Like I said, got all SEC honors, but also still finished 3rd on the team in tackles and didn't play the last 4 games. So, it was an amazing season, but we were playing LSU. It was a 23-16 game. We knew if they scored that it was, we were probably going to end up losing the game, and it was a goal line stand. Josh Booty, he takes the ball, he rolls out. If he'd just thrown it to my man, the tight end, he's wide open in the back of the end zone, but instead he decides to run it. When he runs it, I come up. He jumped, I jumped. Came down on my left leg with my weight, his weight, Reggie Miles' weight, Cornelius Griffin's weight. So all of our weight on my one leg, and it was just too much, and it just ended up blowing my knee out, tore my ACL, MCL, patella tendon, medial meniscus, lateral meniscus, and my articular cartilage, all at one time. And you went to Alabama, so you know the back half of this story. We had a crappy team doctor who shouldn't have been operating on lab rats, let alone people. And the surgery was a disaster, man. It really was. And the worst thing about it all was the fact of them trying to get me to go back to this guy. And I'm like, this guy's not touching me again. The only reason why he operated me on the first time, because I had to have emergency surgery because they didn't know if I had internal bleeding or if I had damage to my nerves and other things. Like, if it hadn't been for that, he wouldn't have touched me then. But he ended up going to Dr. Kane and Dr. Andrews in Birmingham. Dr. Kane redid everything, man. Shout out to him, Lyle Kane, Alabama's current team. I've been fine ever since.
Okay, man. That's tragic just to hear about those, stuff like that when people have injuries, where you can't play anymore. And I don't know how many L's. I thought we only had 3 L's. You went past PCL, MCL, and ACL. You named about 4 or 5 different other things. I don't even know what you're talking about. But that's
basically my skin was the only thing holding my leg together. But yeah, it was rough.
Man, so we have a lot of kids and parents of athletes, high school athletes, to listen to this show as well, because they're looking for motivation on how they get to the league or stay in the league or get to college. And we do a lot of college shows like that, which we're going to have another one of those at the end of the month before the signing day. But how important, what kind of message do you give to kids, man, to high school kids or the youth when, getting prepared for this? Because you never know when it's going to happen. What do you tell them?
The funny thing about it, I never even thought about it, never considered it in my life growing up. And it wasn't until it happened to me that I really had to wrap my mind around it. And it took some years to do that. And the first time somebody asked me to speak to high school students about this, I had to think about this. What am I going to say to these kids to get them to understand what I went through and how it translates to them? And the only thing I could think of was the first conversation that I had with my academic advisor at Alabama, John Deaver. John says to me, "You are a student athlete. You got to go to class. You got to do blah, blah, blah." I said, whoa, stop right there. Do you know how good I am at this? Football, to me, it just comes natural. I said, no, I'm an athletic student. I'm here to do these 3 years of playing football, and I'm out of here. Lo and behold, that was not the plan. I never thought that I would be that guy to get hurt. I never thought I would be that guy to have to rely on my education. So if anything, the thing that I always tell kids is always expect the unexpected. Never think that your plan is your plan, because it's not your plan. It's your wishes and your desires, but it's not your plan. Your plan is in God's hands, and you don't know what that plan is. So all you can do is wish and hope that it goes that way and do your best to fulfill it. But if it doesn't happen, prepare yourself with other options. And for me, the biggest thing that I had to take away from that once I got hurt was you are intelligent. Use your brain. So I do have multiple degrees now, which I would have never had I not got hurt, because all I wanted to do was go play football. But given the way God had a different plan for me, life went in a completely different direction. So again, no matter what you think your plan is, it's not your plan. It's what you wish and hope for. But the man upstairs is the one truly in control.
Well, look here, man. Look like JT, we're going to be having to fly him down here into Dallas and coming out here to bring him to John Paul II High School, because how many times do we hear or try to talk to kids about the importance of education while playing this, and it does go on deaf ears a lot of times. And Marvin, I don't know how much you're around kids and stuff now, but for us, it's even parents now overlooking the plan B, or making football the plan B and not education. Is getting worse, in my opinion. So, and you hit me.
The thing about it, most people, I'll be honest with you, social media has glorified sports to a level that we would never comprehend, because we didn't grow up or play in that era. Everybody thinks that their kid is going to be the next superstar based upon how many followers he has, how many likes he has, how many views he has. That has nothing to do with the next guy who he's going to line up against, who's more prepared than him. Has nothing to do with the fact that he gets injured. None of the above. Because again, going back to me, I played around in school because I knew all I had to do was just enough to stay eligible so that I can, play football. But once I got hurt, it got even worse. And ultimately, for me, I ended up having to pay for my own classes to show the university that I was serious about graduating before they even picked up my bill again. Because, again, they weren't going to entertain the foolishness. So I had to show them that I wanted it. And the social media, it has ruined a generation.
Yeah. That is a message, folks, and it is very awesome to hear that. I do appreciate you for sharing that, just because I think it's crazy, about just the way we think. So I thank you for, giving a little bit of testimony there. I think that is very, very important, and kids need to hear that. Sorry, I'm having a problem with my little mic over here.
It's funny. I often preach to my many, many, many children that I know that I have about life before social media, life before the internet, life before caller ID, and how much fun it was. And God, if there was social media around in the 80s when I was growing up and when I was in high school, I wouldn't probably exist right now, or I'd be locked up somewhere. But kids just think that that's life, and everything that they do and are is related to social media, and it is maddening at times. I don't understand it.
Well, yes. So I often preach about that and talk about that too. So thank you again. Now I think we want to go in. Can we talk some Alabama football with you as well?
Always.
What have they ever done?
Yeah. So just in case you didn't know, Tim is a Texas A&M fan. So he.
It's not his fault. I know he probably wishes they were still in the Big 12. It'd be all right.
No. I'm happy to be where we are, brother.
Welcome to Big Boy football.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
So we got a pet peeve around here with our show, and me and JT in particular, always talking about the linebackers at Alabama every single week, whether we're tweeting about it, texting about it, or something. So I just want the real scoop. Maybe it's scheme, maybe it's something we're missing. I don't know. But what in the world is going on? Why can't we cover any running backs? Is it we don't want our linebackers to cover them? What's the real deal? Are we pointing this the wrong way? What's going on?
Here's my take on that. I'm not going to say it's the players. I'm going to point it all at defensive coordinator, because here's the thing about it. As a coach, you have to coach to the strengths of your players. You know you got a lot of young guys this year that we started the season with. If you know that you have these guys, okay, the secondary is the strength of your team, right? So, but at the same time, we all know you like to run a lot of man coverage, a lot of one free, because you like to keep that safety in the middle of the field and man up across the board. But if you
I lost him, y'all here.
Oh, we lost his audio.
We lost his audio. We lost you, Marvin.
Oh, you got me now?
There you go.
Yep,
there you are.
Okay, yeah, somebody had called me. But if you can't get enough pressure to make that ball come out fast enough, nobody can cover forever. So for me, I feel like they should have ran a lot more zone with some zone pressures earlier in the season, and then allowed them to grow up a little bit more, because as you've seen the season go on, you've seen Barmore and a lot of these other guys starting to get more pressure. It got better as the season went on. But I don't think he did a good job in preparing them throughout the season to get to that point. It's like you just threw them out there and like, well, this is what we do, whether you like it or not. Like, as a coach, you have to coach to the strengths of your players. If your guys don't get pressure, why are you running all this man-to-man on the back end?
Well, let me ask two questions then, because I got two counterpoints. One being, one of those linebackers is Dylan Moses, who is most certainly not a freshman.
Coming off a knee injury, that's a whole different mind state.
True, but the other thing is, a lot of times it wasn't that they weren't covering long enough. It was just the running back was open from the snap. He's running a flare, he's running a quick out, and nobody was there.
See, that's my point. When you got young guys, okay, outside of Dylan, were not all the other linebackers young?
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
Christian,
So
but he had a full season. It's not like it was his first time out there.
But this is what I'm saying though. If you know you got young players, why not coach to their strengths? Let them play zone defense, bring some zone pressures occasionally, and then once you're comfortable with them playing more man-to-man coverage, then you transition to that point. Don't just have them out there trying to run man coverage, especially, okay, so you got a man concept, all right? So you got one back and you got a slot receiver. Mike and the Wheel got to pass off that 2 and that 3 receiver. But if young guys out there, they don't know how to pass off a 2 and a 3. It might be some motion that changes the numbers. It's 10,000 things that can happen before that ball snap to change who you have in man coverage. Why would you do that to young kids?
I get it, but I have a hard time thinking that you can play a full season and under the same defense and not understand. I mean, there's two of them. There's one that played a full season. There's one that's been there for 4 years. And one of those dudes is supposed to be an NFL caliber receiver. He's supposed to be able to point at that young guy and be like, hey, this is what we're doing. You got this guy if he goes over here, right? I mean,
all right, now hold on. But then Moses comes out last week before, and tells you that he's been dealing with his knee. The mental aspect of dealing with his knee, that far outweighs him telling anybody what to do on the field, because I guarantee you, when that knee is in the back of your mind, it's hard to think about anything because all you worried about is not getting hurt. So him trying to tell other people what to do was probably the furthest thing from his mind. He probably wanted to do it, but when you're out there in pain and in the heat of the moment, you're thinking about, how do I not get hurt? So again, as defensive coordinator, if I'm calling the plays, I'm going to put my players in the best position to make plays. It's going to be zone coverage. Again, I'm going to mix in some zone pressures, and we're going to work on the man concepts in practice throughout the season. And once I feel like we can adequately run those man's coverages, and we can get enough pressure up front, then I'll transition to it. Because again, when you're playing teams with 4 and 5 wides, those receiver numbers change so much depending upon the motion and the crossing routes. Do you understand how hard it is to keep up with who you got to cover before the ball snaps?
Marvin, man, I'm with you and I get it, but listen, bro, I can sympathize with the injuries and whatnot, because that is a mindset and that does affect you. But maybe you shouldn't be on the field, and that's any position. I'm a defensive back. If I'm a little gimpy, my ankle a little bit hurt, and you tell me over that slot receiver, even, occasionally in man, I still got that bad mindset because he hit me with that post corner or whatnot. I'm probably going to get beat. I'm going to ruin my career. Someone might not get drafted or something. So, I'm hearing the sob story about maybe they need to do that. But if that's the plan, I'll give you a little bit. That could be the coach's fault, understanding that he's hurt and you need to put him in there. But, bro, man, you need to – it needs to reciprocate. Dude, I can't cover him.
Hold on. Let me give you one more point, though. This is the one thing most people don't like to talk about. This is going to be the softest generation to go down in the history of generations. People have been coddling these kids for so long that nobody wants to put them in harm's way. That's the main part of it. They didn't grow up drinking water out the hose pipe. They don't know what it feels like to fall off something and almost break something, and your mama tell you, stop crying, get back outside. So when you've been raised to be soft your whole life, how can you man up and be a dog in a dog fight when you have to be?
Because you got to go to Texas A&M at that point and not Alabama. That's what I say. You got to sit
because here's the thing about it, though.
Could you not at least say Arkansas?
All right.
No, because but when I say that, I'm not saying it to try to justify what they did, because I played young. I played middle linebacker as a redshirt freshman, and I had to make all the calls and adjustments, and coach wasn't taking no excuses from me if I messed up. But it's a different generation. It's a completely different mindset. This is the generation of instant gratification. You yell at them, they want to put their name in the transfer portal and go somewhere else because it's too tough. So what do you do?
It. I like the facts and the hard talk and the real talk. I love that, absolutely. Just don't be mad next Tuesday when you're on your show and you got a bunch of parents giving you a little hate mail on the Riley and Constant podcast because you talk about their baby. Because they say the hit dog will bark, and you hit somebody real hard that's gonna be listening to this either right now or a little bit later.
But is it not true? How many kids do you see put their names in the transfer portal when it doesn't go their way? When things get hard. I went to Alabama with an All-American in front of me. And what I make him do? He transferred that next year because he knew that young kid was coming for him and he wasn't going to see the field no more. That you don't see that too much these days. Most kids, if they ain't playing, they transferring. So coach yelled at me, I'm transferring. Something ain't going right. I'm transferring. It's a different generation.
You know, tell me.
Transfer right now.
It just snuck down. It just snuck down the high school football too. Unfortunately, there's not an official transfer portal, but there is a transfer portal that these kids are moving around way too much. And I know JT and Tim, I don't know if you heard, so they kind of officially made some new rules here in Dallas about. It's not called open enrollment, but I heard they put some schools on the list where like Duncanville and those schools can actually have students from out of their area come to their school.
Why?
Why? To build the powerhouse football teams and keep those traditionally rich teams. So now you can live up here. It already happened to us. And a great five-star can go down there and go play some football. And, they call it will be like not a magnet school or whatever those other schools are called.
Right.
Where you, go for
But
education.
You go to the school where you live. You play football at the school where you live. All right. That's how rivalries are built. That's how you get to know the players at other schools that are your rivals. And then y'all go to college together. You become buddies and you butt heads on Sundays at the next level. Just because you want to play at that school over there, the next zip code over, doesn't mean you have the right to. Hey, Dad, go move us over there. I want to play football there. That's how you do it.
A lot of people don't embrace competition. So one of my cousins, he played at Arkansas. Another one of my cousins, had his grades been right, he would have ended up going to a Division I school. And, but at the same time, I wanted to play against all of them. I didn't want to play with them. I want to beat you. Don't come over here trying to make a super team. Me and my little crew of homies that grew up together on this side of town gonna come to your side of town and give y'all the business. But people don't think like that now. But it starts with the NBA, these big three, these super teams. Everybody want to go team up. What happened to you being the baddest dog in your yard and defending your yard? Why you got to go to somebody else's yard to get help to defend their yard?
Man, that is a perfect point right there because I hate the NBA. That's the reason I hate it right there.
Yeah.
Quit wanting team.
I don't think that's any different than how the NFL works.
Free agency? Is that what you're saying, JT?
Yeah. How's it? It is the only reason the NBA is different is because it's easier. But the NFL does the same thing. Why is Tampa the way Tampa is?
You can't build a super team in the NFL.
Out of retirement.
You're right. You can't build a super team in the NFL. It is impossible. Not enough money.
Not with a 55-man roster. No.
Right. And with salary cap the way it is, it will never happen.
But in the NBA, you're allowed to be over the salary cap. It's a soft cap. You just got to pay extra money at the end of the year. You can do whatever you want. That's right. It's ridiculous.
That'll have to be that'll be a good discussion we got to have. So while we do this, fellas, and we want to hold you on for one more segment, Marvin, if you don't mind.
Oh, yeah.
We have a couple other things to talk about after we hit this break in a minute, but we know we got to talk about Jeremy Pruitt and see what's going on down there in the land of the orange.
Goldie, bring Jeremy back.
So we got to talk about
news
that.
For you. Jeremy can't come back.
Oh, shh. I'll give you my tease, man. Don't be going out to the tease. All right. Well, JT says Pruitt can't come back to Alabama. Find out why right after this break. Thank you.
ProfoundSites.com for your personal and commercial needs. Websites built, repaired, cured, maintained, and found. Brent Thomas and ProfoundSites.com provide e-commerce development, website development, online marketing, web, mobile, and e-commerce consulting. With over 10 years experience, Profound Sites is responsible for creating GeorgeTeague.com, where you can hear Teague's Take with George Teague every week. Brent Thomas and Profound Sites can take you through the entire pain-free process of building your new website. From initial discussion to planning, design, to coding, and making your site live and discoverable on the internet. Contact Brent Thomas at ProfoundSites.com or email him at brent@ProfoundSites.com.
Hey, sports and sports memorabilia fans, this is IndyCar Timm. I want to talk to you about our new friend Chris Gordon over at the Cowboy House, cowboyhousesports.com on the web. Now, Chris is super passionate about all sports, and that's why the Cowboy House is so much more than just a Dallas Cowboys sports memorabilia store. He's got unique game-used memorabilia and rare, hard-to-find autographs for teams across the globe. Everything from the NFL, MLB, NHL, NBA, golf, UFC, soccer, Olympics, even from Hollywood and the political sector. And his store isn't just a fancy mall store. It's more of a man cave that he likes to share with his friends and customers. Come on into the store at 209 South Shady Shores Drive, Suite 200 in Lake Dallas, and you can walk on the Texas Stadium end zone turf. You can sit in a chair from Yankee Stadium or Texas Rangers Globe Life Park. Check out hundreds of autographed jerseys from hundreds of teams. Check out thousands of photos signed with certificates of authenticity. He's also got custom framing for all of your sports memorabilia items. Chris Gordon over at cowboyhousesports.com. 214-551-5978. Thank you, Cowboy House.
Need a one-stop shop for Cowboys news happening over at the Star in Frisco? Click on over to cowboyssi.com, featuring Mike Fisher with 30 years experience covering America's team. It's the most popular of all Sports Illustrated sites and home to the Cowboys Blitzcast podcast. CowboysSI.com is the place to get inside your Cowboys. With such a talented team of writers and reporters over there, you'll always know the latest about personnel and roster moves, salary cap issues, and draft class status. Click on over to CowboysSI.com and get the inside scoop on America's team.
3R Sports Graphics. Hello, everybody. You've probably seen the graphics that are out on social media every week that announce the guest for Teague's Take for that week, as well as their credentials listed there on the graphic as well. Those come from our good friend Tyler Sanders over at 3R Sports Graphics. Now, he only works for schools, so we need to mention that. Some of his proud schools are Liberty Christian, Parish Episcopal, Legacy Christian, and Fort Worth Christian. These are custom graphics for your school's athletic department. Hire Tyler Sanders and 3R Sports Graphics, and you will work one-on-one with a graphic designer. You will get final score graphics the night of the game, unlimited graphics with a 1-year contract, and you can fulfill the sports information director role of a school, but for a fraction of the cost. And he will handle this for you every week. He puts it out on social media for you as well. He handles that. Give Tyler Sanders a call with 3R Sports Graphics, 713-933-9767, or you can shoot him an email, tsanders2405@gmail.com. Tyler Sanders, 3R Sports Graphics, on Twitter at 3R Sports and the number 1. And check out his Twitter feed. He's got all of the examples. You can scroll through his feed and look at all of the graphics as he's done for everybody. Tyler Sanders, 3R Sports Graphics. Give him a call now. Thank you, Tyler. Welcome back, everybody, into what will for the rest of the night be known as the Teague and Constant Show. I'm just the lonely Texas A&M co-host, Tim. We're having lots of fun here with our guest, Marvin Constant, and we're talking about some Alabama linebacking woes, and we're having lots of fun here. We need to remind everybody before we get into Money Matters that the Teague's Take podcast with me and George and JT this Saturday at noon will have your NFL Sunday championship preview show, previewing the 2 championship games in the AFC and the NFC. We're going to have some guests on, some guest analysts. We're going to have Coach Clancy Pendergast once again. We're going to have Kenny Stills Sr. on the show, helping us break down those games, along with NFL great Cornelius Bennett. Looking forward to talking to that guy. I've got a couple of mutual friends with him that I can't wait to pick his brain about.
What was it? Tom from MySpace and Jeff from Facebook?
Tom from MySpace and Steve Case from AOL. No, actual real people that really exist. So we're looking forward to that Saturday. Tune in to all of the Teague's Take channels, either Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, at noon this coming Saturday, and we'll break down those games for you. But right now, it is time for America's favorite part of the show. It is time for this.
And now it's time for America's favorite segment.
I just said that.
Matters with JT.
Well, this is Money Matters, brought to you by ProfoundSites.com. And we'd like to thank Marvin Constant, linebacker apologist, for being here today. Yeah, that's it. That's his group. He just didn't want to give us the truth. He wanted to make excuses and whatnot. It's fine.
JT, it's like, good Lord, he just trying to protect them
Our
linebackers.
linebacker play has been terrible compared to the way it's been. It has been atrocious. Man, I was so disappointed with the way them guys been playing all year. There was some days when I wanted to just suit up and go out there like, man, I can do better than that.
Well, anyway, today we are talking Tennessee, Jeremy Pruitt, the NCAA, Philip Fulmer, and the perpetual dumpster fire that has been Tennessee since 2007. Jeremy Pruitt is out. He's been fired with cause. And he received a letter from Tennessee informing him that reads, and I quote, "Your failures are likely to lead to significant penalties to the university and has jeopardized the eligibility of our student athletes." So they got rid of him. They got rid of Naderman. Fulmer resigned, and they also fired 9 other employees, some of which were in the on-field recruiting department. And originally, I thought this was something that was solely driven by Jeremy Pruitt's buyout, which is something like $12.88 million.
It's a lot of money.
Sir.
I share the video from YouTube that is an Alabama student talking about Tennessee every year for Tennessee Hate Week, and he says, Tennessee is low down, they dirty, they some snitches, and this year they kind of snitching on themselves. They had an internal investigation, which if you just kind of read the headlines, you would think that they really wanted Jeremy Pruitt out so bad, they didn't want to pay him his $13 million. That they were going to investigate themselves to drum up NCAA violations so that they could fire him with cause. There are allegations of improper recruiting, such as illegal contact with recruits. Apparently, Dan Patrick has reported they were handing out cash in McDonald's bags on campus.
I will never go to McDonald's and look at a bag the same again.
No, I'm gonna go tomorrow and I'm gonna raise
grabbing every bag
when there's no money in there. But this started on November 13th. They got a tip from someone who was either somebody fired by Jeremy Pruitt, or somebody that admittedly was a Georgia commit. So he was recruited by Tennessee and went to Georgia instead. They got a tip that there were some impermissible benefits. They had to, and this broke during their last game of the season. But they had to sit some of their players. They had 2 players that they had to sit due to compliance reasons. Jeremy Pruitt, when asked about it, said he didn't know why they had to sit the player, but their defensive coordinator missed that game due to compliance reasons, as well as another coach. I can't remember who he is off the top of my head. But as I said, Philip Fulmer, he's resigned as well. They say that he has nothing to do with this. I don't believe it at all. But I want to know kind of what is your take on this? Because I mean, there is no way that that Tennessee thinks that they can pull in a head coach worth his salt into this program now with NCAA allegations looming. And even though they're doing what Tennessee does, they're trying to bring down another program with them, i.e. Georgia, who apparently, just joking, have been handing out cash in Chick-fil-A bags instead of McDonald's bags.
Side of mayonnaise with that, please.
Where do they go from here? How do you salvage a program that hasn't been relevant in at least a decade, with probation sanctions coming in, and with Pruitt going to appeal and sue Tennessee for his money? But he's probably going to be hit with a show cause penalty. And if he gets hit with a show cause penalty, he's not coaching anytime soon.
I think the first thing you got to do is hire Marvin Constant, because he'll set them boys straight, because he said everybody's soft and everything else. And I think he can try to whip those guys in Tennessee in shape a little bit. But, this is, it's amazing research that you've done to be able to pull that out. And I can't help but wonder, and it wouldn't make sense to me, but are there financial troubles at the university or something? Why, even if you didn't want that, I'm hearing what you're saying, but it seems like if you made this contract or whatever and you really want them out of there, they should have some, I don't know what it is. I'm saying boosters. If they hand the money out in the bags, they're coming from boosters, and all this kind of stuff. They need to be able to drum up some kind of funds to get him out of there and just buy him out and get gone, because you're right. This is ugly to me. It's going to be too hard to bring.
Well, I'll tell you what. You mentioned the being able to hand out money. I think part of the problem is, one, they've had 5 coaches in the last 10 years. A lot of which I bet they're still paying. I bet they're still paying their buyouts right now. I mean, they actually still owe Butch Jones money, huh?
And that's why they couldn't do it again.
Yeah.
They had to have a with cause in their contract.
Yeah, I mean, Butch Jones just left Alabama and is the head coach at Arkansas State, and Tennessee still owes him money. So that's one. And the other thing is the two people that are spearheading this are relatively new people. These are not. One of them was hired in 2019, right before Pruitt got the extension, which he shouldn't have got, but whatever. And the other one was hired, I think, 4 months ago. Like this is a changing of the guard for Tennessee. I think they're trying to clean slate, get everybody out, and start anew.
Well, and that includes the so-called retirement of Philip Fulmer, who's a legend at the school and has been their athletic director for the last only 3 years.
Also a snitch.
And somehow his recent retirement announcement is totally unrelated to this investigation and its findings.
Sorry, I'm laughing at Donnell Robinson here.
I don't know anything about the offensive line, man. I might look like an offensive lineman, but I don't know anything about it.
I don't think it's about the money, though. You got to look at it a little bit deeper. The one kid in question who ends up going to Georgia, that's a whole different situation that they've been talking about, lately as to, what did Georgia do? So don't be surprised when you see Georgia under investigation for them getting this kid away from Tennessee after he allegedly took the money from Tennessee. But the thing about Tennessee as a whole, you got to look at the program as a whole. Tennessee has not really been relevant since, 98, 99, since they won their last championship in 98. And they were decent in 99. But since that 2000 season on, Tennessee has pretty much been terrible. And when you have a program that's experienced the level of success that Tennessee has, the fan base, they're not trying to hear losing season after losing season. So it puts pressure on coaches to have to do things to win. And we all know when you at a crappy place, it's hard to get players there. So some coaches tend to bend the rules to kind of change the guard on the players that they're getting. Like Alabama, guys just want to go to Alabama because it's Alabama. They know they're going to win. They know they're going to go to the NFL, and they're going to have a great time doing it. Who's going to go to Tennessee just to go get killed every week?
But see, this is the problem, though. Tennessee's had top 10 recruiting classes, and they're still out here losing to Georgia State and Vanderbilt. Like, if you go cheat blatantly, at least win.
Well, and that tells you that it's coaching. It's the culture there. It's not the players. I mean, they're getting recruits, like you said, but if they can't be coached and taught properly, then
all right. Now you said Tennessee got a top 10 recruiting class. Top 10 is decent, but when you look at the fact that you got to play school with the number 1 recruiting class, the number 2 recruiting class, another top 5 recruiting class is going to come out of Auburn or out of another Florida. You got Georgia. You're playing schools who have recruiting classes better than yours. So the fact that you got a top 10 class means nothing if 5 other schools in your conference have better recruiting classes.
Okay, so that's fine. So that's 5 L's. So explain Vanderbilt and explain Georgia State.
Well, I mean, after you've lost so many games, you kind of just like, why are we even here? Let's just go ahead and get it over with.
Georgia State was the first game of the season. They was out here. They've been out here.
Maybe they were still depressed from their spring game.
Tennessee's just been bad, and it's worse that it's Derek Ansley was the defensive coordinator who was an Alabama DB coach before he left to go with what's his name at Michigan State now.
Mel Tucker.
Yes, Mel Tucker.
Oh,
and then Pruitt being the DC, and these are the 2 guys that are supposedly the mastermind. I really don't think that Jeremy Pruitt's smart enough to maybe that's why they were handing out bags of McDonald's bags, because I don't think that they're smart enough to actually pull off something elaborate, maybe like a Will Wade at LSU, who's still under FBI investigation. But You know,
I'd like to see how that works. These McDonald bags, I'm kind of confused on what that is. But hey,
You want Happy Meal right now, don't you? Yeah.
man, if it's gonna be Happy Meal, give me double something, double
right?
quarter.
You need a quarter pounder with cheese.
Get that Happy
That's
Meal
right.
with extra lettuce. That's what they was getting in Tennessee. Let me get that with extra lettuce. Put all
I'm
the
gonna tell you
green in there.
I want mine loaded, large fry, onions, everything. Give me extra ketchup too if you got some in there. Let me see. But hey, I just got a little bit of news. We're talking about recruiting because our fan extraordinaire, Consuela said they're starting already to lose kids. That Ray Buchanan kids
You got to
already
think about it
transferring
though,
out.
man. They put so much pressure on these coaches to win. You got 2, maybe 3 years. So I wouldn't be surprised if more coaches are under investigation. Because again, you got 2, maybe 3 years, and if you hadn't turned it around, you out of there. Look at Herman down in Texas. Look at all these. They fired these guys for nothing. They don't even give them a chance.
Well, let me ask you this. I'm really, and this can be the last piece on this segment. And I'm really just curious because, so many schools are caught up in this stuff, right? But the people that always, excuse me, that don't get hurt in this are time, right? So Jeremy ain't out there passing out money out his check to try to get this dude. Now, he might have built some relationships, but someone approached him and said, hey, if you need some help, let me know, or whatever it is. So how do you deal with that as a AD, president of the school, that when you see this kind of stuff and maybe it happens again and it's going to come up again, if they're trying to get better, maybe they hide it a little bit better. What are you asking the president or athletic director to do to try to make sure this doesn't happen at their school?
Well, it's going to be difficult to prevent it until they start paying players because, again, we all know most of your best athletes are going to come from impoverished areas. They come to school with nothing, and that little bit of money that they get them every month to eat with, that little $200-300, that ain't going to cut it. They want to take girls on dates. They want fresh shoes. They want fresh clothes, and you're not giving them the things that they need while you're making millions of dollars. So until you start giving these kids an adequate amount of money so that they can actually sustain and live their lives like they should be allowed to when you're making millions of dollars, you're never going to stop it. And for these athletic directors, okay, you go back to Alabama when we got put on probation the last time. They ended up with they banned Logan Young and the other booster. They can't come back to games or on campus. Okay, boo-hoo, you banned them for life. But at the end of the day, until you start giving these kids what they're owed, you're never going to end that problem.
All right. Thank you for that lead on that, because I am actually going to call that a special show. We're gonna have to do a bonus episode, Tim and JT, and have some guests in here, have a forum with players on why players should be paid to play collegiate sports.
Let me ask you a question, though.
It's not even that hard on why they should be paid.
Well,
right,
you
got
what?
coaches making $7-8 million a year,
million.
driving their Benz and living in their lake houses, and I'm out here walking to class with some old Nikes on. You think I'm gonna be happy about that? So
And
when these boosters come over here with this McDonald's bag, I'm gonna ask for 2 or 3 more.
Marvin, JT, and Tim. I don't know or maybe I need to do it. We need to post it out there, put a poll out there, and if we say should college players be paid on Twitter or some social media, I bet it's going to be kind of split, because I've already had this on.
Yeah, I bet it's going to be split on people who didn't play and people who did.
Well, and that's right. You're going to have those kind of people at the university making that decision on who's getting paid or not, because they're going to say, hey, we're giving them education, we're paying for their housing, we're paying for whatever.
You know what? Let me say this one last thing. I had to defend this point to a large group of people once before. They all said, well, you got a scholarship. Your books, your living is all paid for, all this other stuff. I say, yeah, that's fine and cool. But there's also kids here on academic scholarships who get the same thing I get. But nobody's paying millions of dollars every year to come see them in the math bowl, but they come in to watch us play football. So don't compare me to them. They're not making money. We are. So, yes, we should be paid. Because, again, ain't nobody at the math bowl over there. Yay, good quad. No.
Well, you're also the only reason that they can continue to give out athletic scholarships is because they're bringing in money from
academic scholarships.
Name a program. Yeah, academic scholarships, because they're making so much money off of name your best sports program.
So let me. I'm going to end with the last point. Let me have the last word, and then we're going to go to the next little segment here. I would say. I want retribution. I ain't playing no more, but I want money off them jerseys that y'all sold and them pictures that y'all sold. Y'all owe me, man. Y'all owe me. I know there's some cash in the bank out there for you, boy. Just give me the receipt. I don't even want 100%, man. Just give me about half of it, Marv. Just give me about half of it. That would be good. You know what I'm saying?
Just get you a percentage of the admission to the sports museum they got on campus.
Yes, sir. I need to get some kind of money off every hiker. Someone that's taking the ball from Lamar. Anyway, man, so y'all give me off on a tangent. So let's lighten up a little bit. Y'all been talking about hamburgers, French fries. I don't know what kind of drinks y'all have. If y'all like that orange soda out of McDonald's, I love that orange.
Dude, okay, in the 70s, when I was a kid, and George, we're pretty much the same age. We're just a couple months apart.
Don't age me, bro.
In the 70s, as a little kid, and this is back in the day at McDonald's. Going back, McDonald's used to be a sponsor of this episode for sure. When the large was like the 16 ounce, like that was a large. Now the larges are like
32
ounces or whatever.
Well, actually, this is a medium from Whataburger.
Dude, that was unheard of in the 70s right there. Nobody ever heard of a drink that big. So that was my go-to. I would get the orange. I'd ask my mom, I need the orange drink. We're going to McDonald's. I got to have the orange drink. I didn't know what it was. I got to have the orange drink.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right.
It's great.
It's still good, man. Them fries.
I was born in the 70s as well, 79.
There you go. I was already in middle school.
You got an old soul, though. That's what some people say. You got an old soul for that. So while we're talking about food, man, I'm just really kind of curious to know, because I'm kind of picky. You know what? We went to a basketball game the other day, and a high school basketball game, and I was so excited about the popcorn that was going to be there. I knew it was going to be the game, but I had to have some popcorn. So what do you guys think of the best foods on this football game? There's two categories, right? I'll put it that way. One is if you're at home, because you're probably going to eat different than you're at home. What are those best football game day food at home? What do you have to have? But if you're at the stadium, what is the other one? What do you guys have to have when you're at the stadium?
Okay, I got to be real honest. Hang on. I got to be real honest, George, because when you first put this on the email for me to put it on the run sheet, I had an entirely different thing in mind that you were talking about, because we were talking to Marvin, who's into the health and the workouts and everything. I thought you were asking what is the best food to eat on game day.
Man, I ain't no nutritionist over here.
And I'm like, nobody cares about that, but it's your show. Whatever.
No, who the hell talking about that? We know you're going to eat some protein, some carbs, and all that kind of stuff.
There you go.
You know what, though?
Just already talking about wings and bomb hours, but what's up, Marvin? Yeah, see you itching. What
cheeseburgers are my favorite food. Now,
on game day?
For a football game?
No, not if you're playing. You're a fan. You're putting in the house.
As a fan, cheeseburger and wings. And I'll be honest with you. In Jerry's world, I had one of the best cheeseburgers ever when I was down there watching Alabama play.
Yeah, you pay $18 with no cheese and pepper.
But I had my cheeseburger and my wings. Same if I'm at home. But I'm not if I'm at a football game, I'll get a cheese. I don't like hot dogs. I'm not a fan of the popcorn. I might do nachos, but for me, it's a cheeseburger. Gotta have a cheeseburger.
There you go.
No, that's not. I don't think that's not tailgating food. How many tailgates you been where people really throwing out burgers, man? It's
a lot.
But
you over there eating spam, potted meat?
I don't even know what that is, but no, I probably ain't eating that no more. Because I will eat hot dogs are great game day foods.
At home? Wait, are you talking about at home or at a bar or at a restaurant?
It don't matter. It's football food, man. That's what you eat, man. But
I can't tell you the last time I had
Cracker Jacks and all that kind of stuff. But really,
yeah, baseball, hot dogs, apple pie, Chevrolet, and A&M.
Oh no, man. What I want though, I'm gonna give you just a couple, then I'm gonna let y'all finish some more, and I'll probably give you some more. Because if you don't have the chips and the dip, if you're at home, you gotta have the chips and the dip, and they gotta be the right kind of chips. They gotta be Ruffles, crunchy, good stuff to give you. Why are you making that face, Marvin, man?
Because you're talking about Ruffles. Man, you gotta have
Ruffles?
tail dip with tortilla chips.
Tortilla, you said the L.
Tortilla.
Yeah, no, you gotta have the. I don't even know how to say it. The Santitas chips.
What?
That's
The $2 bag in that white bag.
Those
$2.99.
no, it's got to be the yellow bag.
Yellow bag. You gotta get the yellow one.
I do either one. Whichever one don't look broke up when I'm in the grocery store. That's the one.
Yeah, but you still gotta, you just gotta mix it up, man. You gotta keep going back, getting the chips, dipping in. Okay, so what kind of dips? What kind of dips are y'all eating then?
I like my Rotel. I'll get my Velveeta and then I put in some mozzarella with it, with my ground beef and my diced tomatoes, with my onions and my peppers. Man, and then put in just a little bit of heavy whipping cream to thin that thing up.
Now we know how you got to the 317 or whatever that number was or whatever. It's coming the truth right here now. Depression, man. You was eating, man. You watching the football games, man.
Oh, yeah.
Shoot. I'm a French onion guy. JT, because I probably should know, but what are you, what's your choice of stuff? Dips. What is your choice of dips?
JT eats whatever his wife tells him to eat.
You talking about with dips, or we talking about just food in general?
Well, go ahead and tell us all of it.
Okay, well, so I'm gonna go a little off the wall because everybody knows my affinity for wings. So by default, I'm just not going to pick wings. But there, as I was thinking about this, you got me thinking of two things. One is tailgates, and the other was Carl Goff's New Year's party. Oh, and the one thing that I was always waiting for at Carl Goff's house was the damn Vienna sausages. So
they ain't Vienna sausages. Just them little the things with the barbecue sauce on them. I don't even know what they call.
Vienna sausages, you might well go ahead and say spam and potted meat too.
What's spam?
So
I love spam.
And pulled pork sandwiches. Those would be my two off the wall. I'm not really, and this is where everybody's gonna hate me. I'm not really a dip guy. I'll do queso, whatever, but really all I want is the tortilla chips and salt. It's addicting, and I would just eat the whole bag. I don't need to dip it into anything. Just give me the bag, and I'll just eat the chips.
You eat wings without ranch too, don't you? I know
ranch is disgusting. Ranch is an abomination.
George, what have you done with this boy?
Hey man, between him and Jada, they don't have my taste in food. They don't. Jada don't eat.
Because look, good food doesn't need extras. Good food doesn't need to be dipped in anything. It doesn't need to be spread with anything. It doesn't need to be smothered in random white sauces that people want to call ranch, mayo, and blue cheese.
The point is, this is American. We can do whatever the hell we want. Do our food whatever we want, whether we like it or not.
Right.
It don't matter. Give me my wings. I'm gonna take the wings. That's my favorite deal. If we come in, smoke them, grill them, whatever. No, man. Give me my wings. Any kind of chicken. Like that. Give me my chips. And if you can get if you got some kind of jalapeno bacon dip,
jalapeno poppers,
I want the popper.
I do. I want jalapeno poppers
and thing, and then we can go. If we're fortunate enough when we're around the right kind of people and they got some sausage in there cut up real good, man, then I'm all
summer
in.
Sausage and cheese.
Summer sausage and cheese.
That is a Shakespeare in the Park type of meal right there, not football.
What are you talking
about? Eating
sausage and cheese?
Where you from, Marvin, man? You talking about sausage? You from deep in the country somewhere, deep Alabama. Where you from, man? For real. You from Homewood out there with
He want
What?
oxtail, pig feet.
But my dad, he from Greensboro, Alabama, baby. So if you name it, we probably had to eat it growing up, man. We never knew what my daddy was cooking. You open the freezer, all you see was white butcher paper with that tape on it. Like, man, I don't know what we gotta eat today, but we gotta eat it because daddy's gonna cook it.
So what your favorite is, based upon what you just told me for the game day, is boiled peanuts, pickled pig feet,
Oxtail, cow tongue.
oxtail, cocktail, yeah, all that kind of mess.
Well,
So ain't nobody gonna eat anything that's gonna give you a heart problem.
No. My dad, he loved boiled peanuts. So we used to eat boiled peanuts, yes. But as a kid, I kid you not, man, we might be eating deer, squirrel, turtle, rabbit. You never knew. So when I got old enough and I started making my own money, I say never again in life. So yeah, I don't. I learned the hard way growing up. Yeah, I'm good on that.
Lemon pepper wings.
Marvin, I'm from southern Louisiana, like even farther south than New Orleans, and we had a whole deal about this on an episode one night because they were like, "You can't be from south of New Orleans. That's the ocean." I'm like, "No, just we looked at a map on the air." But when my dad cooked, I didn't know if it was squirrel, if it was rabbit,
alligator,
if it was chicken, alligator. He was like, "If you don't want to eat it,
Awesome.
don't eat it. But it's dinner." I'm
Exactly.
like, I'll eat it. And I loved every bit of it, but I never knew what the hell it was.
Hey, listen,
Well,
my cousins
when
would
you,
come
when
over.
you eat armadillo, people that eat armadillo go bald. So
I've had armadillo.
all right, no, I'm saying, okay.
Hey, but look, my cousins would come over and they would ask what's for dinner, and our answer was always the same: mystery meat, because we never knew.
Yes, sir. Well, all right, man. That was a great time with that. Marvin, we really do appreciate you coming on, man. You gave us a good hour of your time, and we want to thank you for that. And y'all make sure y'all follow him, get him on social media. Go check out Riley and Constant podcast. Download it. Watch him on Tuesday nights, 6 p.m. Central Time, I believe it is, right? That you're on.
Yep. 7 p.m. Eastern. That's it.
7 p.m. Eastern. They do a great job. They're always talking Alabama football and other things as well. But it's a really, really fun show. Really very similar to what Tim do with the Drunk Podcast kind of thing. Kind of has that feel a little bit.
It's a great
except
show.
Except they're not literally drinking on the Riley and Constant.
Oh, they should be.
And if they need a good book to get their life back in order, get in shape, go to 40plusstrong.com, 40plusstrong.com. Grab your copy. Change your life for the price of a cheeseburger.
Well, you are an inspiration, sir. Thank you for sharing your story earlier in the show about how to overcome and how you dealt with that and giving some words to all of us that we can take and learn for it. So with that, thank you, sir, and we appreciate you very much.
Roll Tide.
So,
there he goes, Mr. Marvin Constant, Alabama linebacker extraordinaire. And, man, he was, like JT said, he's a linebacker apologist. That was pretty funny. But we appreciate him popping on. We're going to take another quick break. Before we do, we need to remind everybody Saturday at noon Central Time on the Teague's Take social media family of sites, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook Live. We have the NFL Championship Sunday preview show. We're doing it on Saturday, not on Sunday. So we'll be there Saturday at noon. We're going to talk about the Bills and the Chiefs and the Packers and the Bears. No, just kidding. Packers and the Bucs. Make sure everybody's paying attention. And we'll have our picks. We'll have the breakdown. Coach Clancy Pendergast will be there with us. Cornelius Bennett, former NFLer, will be there. And then Kenny Stills Sr. will be there. We don't want Kenny Stills Jr. We want Kenny Stills Sr. because we want somebody that knows something about football. I'll say that out loud. Dang it. Yeah. But, hey, we'll be back. We got one more segment coming back after this. We're going to talk about Georgia's weekend. He had some coaching duties that we need to discuss and see how that went and how his experience with that went. We'll be back right after this.
Increase time inside your home, noticing all the little things needing attention. Let Repair Resource be your one trusted contractor to tackle all of your home repair needs. They do it all: electrical, plumbing, drywall, painting, and flooring of all types. They can even handle your exterior needs, like fencing, patio covers, concrete pads, and decking. No job too big or small. Repair Resource does it all. Call them at 415-1198 or visit them online at www.repair-resource.com.
Hey, this is IndyCar Tim. I want to talk to you about the Maverick Bar and Grill in Carrollton, Texas. It's North Dallas's premier sports bar and grill located at 1616 West Hebron Parkway. It's 16 minutes from just about anywhere in the DFW Metroplex. With all of the live action on dozens of TVs and the big screen, it's the place to hang out and watch the return of sports with all your friends. Friday and Saturday nights, you'll find the best live music in DFW right there at the Maverick Bar. And of course, on Thursday nights at 6 p.m., you'll find Teague's Take broadcasting live with Alabama and Cowboys legend George Teague. Come hang out and be part of the show. Check out the Maverick Bar and Grill in Carrollton, 972-492-7500, or on the web at themaverickbar.com. Man, that was a really short commercial. I forgot how short that one was. We are back, though, on the Teague Steak Podcast. We want to give a special thanks once again to Marvin Constant, former Alabama linebacking great, co-host of the what's called the Riley and Constant podcast, the proprietor over there at 40plusstrong.com, and, of course, hero of the 99 Alabama LSU game. And make sure, once again, you guys check us out Saturday at noon, this coming Saturday, which is the 23rd, 12 o'clock p.m. Central Time for the NFL Championship Weekend preview show. The games are on Sunday, but our show will be on Saturday to give everybody a chance to hear it / see it before Sunday. So, George, you had some interesting things. You didn't even get to watch some of the games this past weekend because you were busy doing some coaching things.
That's right. And I hate that because I did want to watch it, but yearly I get the opportunity to work with an organization called Blue Gray Football. You can find them at bluegrayfootball.com. JT has actually helped me coach in some of these from time to time, and it's really fun for me. One, because you get to work with kids from all across the state who have either already committed to go play college football or still aspiring to be a college football player. So they're kind of using it as a showcase at the same time. So, this game they always play in professional stadiums. So I guess this will be the second Dallas game that they had, and we got another one next Monday, if you didn't know that. Tim was calling me in the middle of the game or something. I don't know what he was doing.
I didn't know.
I'm like, come on, man, I'm coaching, bro. Don't be blowing me up on the sideline.
No, I was trying to give you the next play call. I was trying to tell you what you need to be doing next.
Yeah, I will be giving you guys some names because there was some really good. I already told JT and Emily there was a very good linebacker that's going to the University of Louisiana there. It was very cool to see him play and watch just the intensity of this. You know what I like the most, guys, about these games? You get a good kick out of it because when you coach at a high school and you think you have the right plan and all the other kind of stuff to run your defense or your offense, when you put it in with a bunch of All-Americans, guess what? It tends to work. It gives you confirmation that, hey, man, okay, I'm not crazy. It can work. I guess if you got the right dudes in there sometimes. So I enjoyed it. It was a special day for us. Jada Teague, obviously, my daughter, right? This was the first time she was a sideline reporter, Tim. If you didn't know that either, she actually got to be the sideline reporter of the game because they do show
the interview that she did with you. Absolutely, man. That was got to be a proud moment as a papa.
Yep. So that game is actually on the Impact Sports Network. So they can watch it there. And then they've already talked about bringing her down to Tampa, I believe, next year so that she can shoot because they do put one of the games is on ESPN. So I think they're going to allow her to do that.
She's good
as well.
I don't know where you got her from, but she's good. Must be mama.
Well, her and JT got this little hidden talent that they do get from her mom. Consuela has her I Am Suela channel. So they do a lot of good stuff with that. So it was a really good time for that. And JT, we're promoting a lot of stuff. But this is one of the things, because I'm a high school coach, athletic director, I'm really involved with that kind of stuff. And a precursor January 31st, we're going to have another recruiting show. That will be a Sunday. We've got some pretty good talent coming on there. So, man, it's just a good time. I'm going to be back at it again. We play Monday again. New kids coming in, more All-Americans. I think the game will be Monday at 1 p.m. We'll practice on Saturday and Sunday again, so I'll probably miss at least part of one of the games on Sunday. But, man, it's a good time. So thanks for bringing that up because I do really, really enjoy it.
No, and apparently you're somewhat of a good coach. I didn't want to give too many props, but you kind of know what you're doing over there on that sideline. And it kind of, it leads back to
says otherwise.
It was good enough for me to lose 25-24 in this past game. We caught a safety early, snapped the ball out the back of the end zone. That wasn't good. The first play of the game, they took it for 75 yards on a reverse play, so we didn't have our linebacker set up right. And
I wonder what Marvin would have to say about that.
Yeah, he
must be the defensive coordinator's fault.
He was running too fast. So we told him, what we say, right? Cut back, boot, reverse. CBR is our stuff, and he trying to make the play over there on the other side, and here come the reverse. And
did you fire your defensive coordinator at halftime like Mike McCarthy should have done in week 1?
Well, I had given myself a $13 million buyout, and because I was a defensive coordinator, and I didn't find any way that I could buy myself out. So, so I just had to get it together.
Well, you should have been running more zone, and shouldn't have your young guys out there worrying about reverses.
Yeah, he's never going to hit it from me. That's because he can't run. He just wanted to get downhill and hit. Marvin, you got to do both, man. You got to do some things. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, yeah, that was good, man. I appreciate it. I'm really looking forward to Saturday too, guys. I think it's going to be tremendous. Just to speak about the game again, pro football, but having the people on coming to do that. Kenny Stills, senior, he played with the Packers. He's actually a high school coach now. He played with another team as well, but I don't know. Maybe we have to dive into what his son's doing. I really had forgot that Kenny Stills Jr. was now at Buffalo. I totally forgot that. And he's like, oh, my boy is at Buffalo. And
I thought that was the whole reason you were having him on.
No, I was actually bringing him on for the Packers piece.
Okay.
Because, he does a lot of commentating or analyst stuff, I guess, with Leroy Butler and some of the other guys dealing with the Packers. So he does a lot of talk about that.
Yeah, senior also played for the Vikings, Packers and Vikings, which is weird because you got that NFC North connection.
So that's going to be good. And then, of course, just talking to Biscuit, having him come on and be able to talk about his beloved Bills, and we have to sneak a little bit of Alabama in there, I'm sure.
4 straight Super Bowl losses. When you talk about that.
You might not. He's a pretty big dude. You might not want to bring that up too much.
We're virtual though. We're virtual.
Arms. He can travel. He got money too. He can come find you, boss.
Like I said, we got some mutual friends. We've had that conversation before, so it'll be fun.
Didn't you see how he hit that quarterback from Notre Dame, boss? You don't want to be that guy.
I don't want to be that guy. I like to be hit by anybody. I don't want to be hit by you. I don't want to be hit by JT. JT by at least 420 pounds.
Yes, sir. So, man, I really appreciate hanging out with you guys like this. And I think it's been another great episode. So y'all, everybody, make sure y'all tune in to us on Saturday for that, and then we'll have another one on Tuesday with Clarence Hill Jr. Yes, sir. Writer extraordinaire with Fort Worth Star-Telegram and one of the Dallas Cowboy beat writers.
One of the good guys in DFW in the writing ranks for sure.
Yes. So we got a lot of things lined up. If y'all looking to see what we have coming up, make sure you tune in. Go check out GeorgeT.com. Follow us all on Twitter and Instagram. JT, you got your Instagram up yet? Or are you still just rocking Reddit and
what? You don't have
Twitter?
Instagram?
No.
How old are you, Grandpa?
27.
God Almighty!
Yeah, he didn't do it. His wife keeps this update though.
Hey, do you have TikTok?
No.
Yeah, me neither. I still don't understand how it works.
Just
Somebody asked me the other day why I don't have TikTok. I said because I'm not a 12-year-old girl.
Because neither one of y'all can dance. That's what it is.
I can dance, just not on camera.
All right, brother. Well, you know what, Timmy? Let's go ahead and call it a night, man. It's been a great show. I really do appreciate you guys for everything. We will see you guys Saturday, noon Central Time, right here on Teague's Take.
We want to thank everybody that's been a part of this one. Marvin Constant for coming on for sure and spending all that time with us, and Justin Riley for letting him come on with us because we know he owns his rights, apparently. But thanks to George, thanks to JT, and thanks to Marvin and Justin. We appreciate everybody that's watched. We will see you Saturday for the Sunday championship game preview show. Until then, take care, everybody.
Get your paper ready, JT. Yeah, he missed.
What do I get for trying to throw a left-handed?